Aquarius, welcome to your yearly 2016 Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for Sidereal Astrology, which if you're new to the channel, be sure to check the description down below because your sign might be different. All right, Aquarius, so a very transformative year, as you might guess, as it has been the later part of 2015. A lot of the same energies continue from the previous year, as you can see here in the transit graph. Even as far back as August, we had Jupiter squaring up to Saturn. That's continuing at least to the first half of this year. That's been a lot of this expansion and growth, but taking it seriously and working hard at it. You know, this is all, especially with you guys having Saturn as your ruler. There is that healthy dose of optimism. There is that overarching view, but it does take that hard work and discipline to actualize it into something. There's been Jupiter trining up to Pluto, which has been great for change, and it's going to be a great first half of the year for change if you're open to that. Jupiter opposing up to Chiron. There's been healing with our philosophies and watching going to any extremes with our philosophies as well. Saturn's been squaring up to Neptune. That's going to continue also. Uncertainty and doubt. And, through that uncertainty and doubt, though, we're kind of ending up where we need to be. And at the same time, we do have this opportunity to actualize a lot of our dreams and visions here. But of course, being malleable to that is key. So you can see a lot of that same energy. We don't really start a whole new set of transits until the end of the year in December, which goes into 2017, setting the stage for that year. And that's much more expansive, much freer, with a lot of aspects from Uranus. This year, 2016, is about hard work, patience, discipline. Saturn, your ruler, is playing a very big role this year from your 10th house of career. So as of recently, maybe the past, later part of 2015, the second half of it, maybe you guys have been working hard in the career front or taking that seriously or really thinking about where you want to expand there and put in that discipline. And it could be career, it could also be legacy or anything on that public level, basically whatever you do for society. But, through that hard work and discipline, that's going to be the actualizing point. It's going to be through that point there from the 10th house that you can follow or you can expand and follow your excitement, because we do have Jupiter over the North Node, which is our life path. And this can be very exciting, or at least illuminating in terms of we're understanding what the shifts are, what the new directions are unfolding for us. But with that conjunction, we just so happen to have Chiron going over the South Node. So there's healing taking place, especially healing regarding our past and releasing that. So this T-square here is essentially the strongest energy of the year, and it'll shift. The second half of the year, that T-square will then be involving Neptune in your first house, which I'll talk about. And that's been about this importance of having faith and trust in general, that everything is unfolding in divine timing with Neptune there. So let's go and look at this right at the beginning of the year. As you can see here, January, Jupiter goes over that North Node, so that's that first dose of inspiration. And this is a North Node that's actually shifting into your 7th house to meet up with Jupiter. You guys have had Jupiter in your 7th, which is about optimism, or at least opportunities to connect, to meet people, maybe socialize. It could be with a significant other. It could be with relationships at work, whatever it might be. All types of one-on-one connections. There is a lot to learn about that area of life, and there's also opportunities to connect there on that level. So now the North Node, which is about our life path in the future, meets up with that Jupiter in that 7th. So this year, and really for the next 2 years, it's all about your relationships and cultivating them. And I think there's a lot of inspiration with that right at the beginning of the year. Now, also in the beginning of the year, the South Node gets very close to Chiron. All right, and Chiron's been helping you guys heal yourself, your self-image, your confidence levels and things like that. And so Chiron's going to shift into your 2nd. So that becomes easier in that sense. And then you guys will be healing any wounds relating to the material or financial aspects of life. But the key with this is right at the beginning, there is old energies that need to be released. Healing, right? Old energies being released and old energies being healed, relating to self and relating to the material financial things. And it's usually with Chiron, some sort of place we feel wounded, we feel like we have doubts or insecurities. But remember, with Chiron, it's not necessarily that way. It's just an internal sort of wound that we have that we're healing. And through that, it can be very rejuvenating. So when you're open to healing the past, relating to self, relating to your values, then you're creating that space for more of this expansion and growth involving those one-on-one connections. All right. All while holding it all together by working hard in that 10th house career or legacy area. So that's right at the beginning in January where we'll start to feel that shift. And then in March, we have the set of eclipses, which eclipses are always important, but especially when you've got planets conjoining the north and south node, or both of them. It's pretty rare. So the key with this is in March, starting on March 8th, we're going to have a solar eclipse, which is a new beginning, right on the cusp between your sign and Pisces. So there's a new beginning here involving you, all right? And, but it's about healing it. Again, it's all about releasing the old, because a solar eclipse with the south node is about spiritual liberation, where we might be holding on too tight, where there might be fears, where there might be those insecurities, so that we can have more of that liberation, freedom in our life. So that between that point, March through September, it's a great time to heal, because then in September 16th, we have the lunar eclipse in Pisces, which will be a culminating point of a lot of those same energies. Now, March 23rd, we've got the lunar eclipse in Virgo. All right, so this could be a culmination of a lot of the deeper things that maybe you've been involved with, maybe with truth, maybe with deeper connections, deeper relationships, maybe freeing yourself from unhealthy bonds, unhealthy attachments. That can culminate in March, and it could be an illuminating point with that as well. So that's the first half of the year, and then things sort of shift around mid-year. All right, Pluto trines the north node. There's change happening to our life path. Jupiter goes over that north node again. A lot of these aspects that started in 2015 culminate at this time. All right, so if you've been working hard, there's been that expansion, whatever, it could be a culmination of that. All right, a culmination of change. But it could also be very confusing for some of us. Saturn will still be squaring up to Neptune, and that's your ruler. So, Neptune from the first house squaring up to your ruler. For a lot of you, there's that doubt, uncertainty about where things are going, where things are unfolding. But with that, there's also an understanding, a spiritual, intuitive understanding, usually. And I can see that there's, with Jupiter over the North Node, there is insight, there's inspiration. So following that, but again, having faith and trust and working hard. Then in September, those next set of eclipses, like I said, a culmination, September 16th, of that healing energy, but also new beginnings relating to those relationships. You'll have a solar eclipse in that 7th house. All right, and that's, again, for the next 2 years, but also for the next 6 months from this point onward. So it could be, a new twist on an existing relationship, and it's not just romantic, it's all kinds of relationships, and it's just a new view of them in general, new perspective. And it could be quite literal too, though. So that's September, and then that's when Saturn stops squaring up to Neptune, so things really start to clear up at that point. Now October, it's a lot of old energies, again, being released, specifically involving Neptune in your first house. So around September, October time period, it'd be very important to have that, again, faith and trust. Everything's unfolding in divine timing, to allow any old energies to go in regards to you, maybe concepts of you. Neptune in the first house is that it's not about putting who you are or what you're doing into a box or into a label, right? And any extremes relating to self, right, which can be accessed through acceptance and compassion, will naturally be released through this energy. And again, that's creating more space for these one-on-one connections that are growing and expanding for you. All right, so spiritual work is with self, the growth and expansion is with relationships, and the hard work is with the career and big picture things. And then, like I said, in December, brand new energies, much more expansive in nature. So it's a good year of hard work. It's a good year of being patient and actualizing, these dreams, these passions, these interests, but really being patient with it. And to the extent of this really depends on our personal charts, and to be willing to do that healing and releasing of the old. All right, Aquarius, I hope you guys have a great 2016. I want to thank you all very much for all of your support, for liking, sharing, commenting, etc. And if you ever have any questions, you can get in touch at masteringthezodiac.com. All right, so have a good one. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.